G'day and welcome back to Billionaire Study Notes. My name's Glenn Gillen. Today we're going to talk about Bill Gates, the co-founder and chairman of Microsoft. I don't think Microsoft needs much of an introduction. Anyone who's ever used a computer will surely know what Microsoft or who Microsoft is. As we like to do in this series, we're going to look at 5 key focal points, 5 key mindsets, if you will, 5 key focal points of the ultra successful throughout our time, and look at how they use them, what they do to distinguish themselves from the masses, and what have allowed them to achieve such heights of success. The 5 key points for Bill Gates are first being a visionary, number 2 being market dominance, number 3 don't fumble the ball, number 4 focus, and number 5 a thirst for knowledge. So if we jump straight into it, number 1 being a visionary. In 1965, Bill Gates was introduced to Moore's Law. Now Moore's hypothesised that every year microchips would double in output. Now, a lot of people at the time understood this law and applied this law by getting into the hardware of IT and computers, by theorising that if microchips are going to double in output every other year, then people are going to have to update their computers and upgrade their hardware just about every other year. Now, Bill Gates saw this a little differently. He saw that sure, people are going to have to update their hardware quite often, though that means, as with any industry, hardware often has a high number of competitors. So he saw that there was going to be competitors and anyone could make a different type of product, though if they were really going to become that widely used, as widely as Bill Gates predicted, that if we just divert for a second, just go to his quote or his vision, which comes to the main point of this key mindset being him as a visionary, is that he envisioned that there would be a computer on every desk and in every home and in every office running Microsoft. He added at the start too, though he later dropped that for obvious reasons. Now, just to get back on track, he saw that if microchips would double in output every other year, that for them to become used by everyone and become universal, that they would have to run the same software or compatible software that would be usable across any machine, no matter who made it. Now, he saw this as a great opportunity, that if he could provide that software, that market dominance, that software that everyone would use across the board, no matter which product they used, he would dominate the market. So to do this, he put all his resources into R&D. Any extra profits they made, he would slap into R&D, which comes back to him living that vision, pushing for that vision to put a computer on every home and in every office. Moving across to point number 2 of market dominance. Bill Gates understood that with these computers, that those that could set the standard would dominate the market. If he could provide a universal system across the board that everyone would use and that all software would be compatible with, that everyone would use his software, he would dominate the market. Now, to ensure that he stayed at this level, which he was able to achieve for 30 straight years, to stay at this level, he had to make his products obsolete before his competitors did. So you'll notice throughout the years, Microsoft every couple of years has brought in a new version of Windows, a new version of Microsoft Word, Excel, those programs to keep pushing along, because he understood that not only does this increase revenue because people have to update all their computers, update their software, but if he was to not keep pushing and pushing and expanding the boundaries, then someone else might overtake and steal the baton from Microsoft. Further to this to this idea of just being dominant, he had so much self-confidence in himself that he went to Harvard after graduating from college or high school, and to quote Bill Gates, he said, "I went to Harvard to learn from people smarter than me. They left disappointed." Now, I just love that quote, that he's so confident in himself, has such a focus, such a confidence in his own ability that he knows he's super smart. Now if we move on to the third point, don't fumble the ball. he understood that in life there's certain opportunities, certain doors open in life, and it takes the person to push through, to walk through that door and to grab that opportunity. They're the ones who are going to get the next opportunity and really succeed. The main example for Microsoft, which was the onset of Microsoft becoming a huge conglomerate, multinational, the IBM contract, when they first sealed that, IBM was an absolute elephant in the IT industry. It dominated the market, it sold the most product. Now, Bill Gates saw this as a huge opportunity. If he could just get his software, provide the software for the IBM computer, he could set the standard, because they already had the market dominance. He could set the standard and then control the market, and then if another competitor came in and actually ended up knocking IBM off their perch, his software would still be compatible on that. So he worked tirelessly for this contract. He worked day and night. He was apparently never seen it. His wife didn't see him at home for this whole period. And another cheeky thing that he put in this contract was that Microsoft would have the sole distribution rights to the software. Fourth point, we're up to is focus. Now, when Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, who were actually good buddies, they went to Bill Gates' father's house, or parents' house, and had lunch one day. Bill Gates' father posed the question to both Bill Gates and Warren Buffett right at the current time. They were the two richest men in the world. If they were to define success and put it down to one thing, what would that be? And they both agreed on the point that focus would be their main point. Focus in where you're going, focus in where you want to go, focus in the direction you're heading, and not worrying about what other people say, not being diverted by what other people say, and just sticking to your focus and just going for it. Now, this focus has allowed Microsoft to be the dominant leader in the IT industry for over 30 years. It's allowed Bill Gates to be the richest person in the world for 13 years straight. Now, to keep on this focus, Bill Gates has had a huge R&D budget. He's invested tirelessly in R&D. He's hired the smartest people straight out of college. He's pushed them and maintained them. He's offered things. He's built his whole Microsoft headquarters like a university campus, because the majority of the people were young. And to really provide a good metaphor on Microsoft and their focus would be to use the analogy of a car, whereas Microsoft would have a huge windshield and no rear view mirror. They're always looking forward, always looking for the next opportunity, always pushing and never looking back and not worrying about what's happened, because that's in the past, it's already happened, always pushing forward. Now, if we move on to the fifth and final point, it's thirst for knowledge. Bill Gates has always been pushing and trying to find that next niche market. Now, people might dispute that at the current time, that companies such as Apple are stealing that away from them. Though, particularly while Bill Gates was at the helm, they definitely did do this. So he's had a huge, again, I'll repeat myself, he's had a huge R&D budget to always to update his knowledge. Say, for example, him and himself, on holidays he would take, very rarely he'd take holidays, but when he did, he would devote them to a certain topic. For example, he would take a 2-week holiday but devote it to studying physics, and he would spend that 2 weeks devouring as much as he could on the topic of physics. Now, he knew that he must stay at the forefront of the industry or else he would perish and his competitors would take over and leapfrog him. Now, I suppose the main point for Bill Gates having a huge thirst for knowledge was when he made an outlandish spend and spent $30 million on a Leonardo da Vinci journal. Now, what could be in that journal, who knows, but he saw that, as most people do, Leonardo da Vinci is an absolute pioneer, a super successful man and one of the smartest people to have ever lived, and he wanted to get inside his head and increase his knowledge. So just to recap on the 5 points, Bill Gates is a visionary. He focuses on market dominance. Whenever he has an opportunity, he doesn't fumble the ball. He's got an unbelievable focus that no one can dissuade, and he has a huge thirst for knowledge. My name's Glenn Gillen. This is Billionaire Study Notes. Tune in next time, we'll study more billionaires.